So in the last video, we were talking about reading strategies, and so I wanted to model my own active reading strategy for the homework assignment that you're going to have. So this is our introduction to success strategies. This is the first reading in this chapter from our online textbook. And so I'll start with just previewing the article. So I see that the title of the article is Why Should We Define and Evaluate Our College Success Strategies? So there's already a question, so I already know that could be a purpose, is that I might be looking to find out the answer to that question. Other purposes I have for reading this, I know, my teacher said I have to read it. We're going to have a quiz on it in class on Monday. I want to find out about how to be successful in college. So these are some other reasons I already know that I want to read this. So I'm going to get right into reading the article. Okay, so it says, when we think about going to college, we think about learning a subject deeply, getting prepared for a profession. We tend to associate colleges and universities with knowledge, and we're not wrong in that regard. All right, so I've read that, and I'm curious that it's got the word knowledge is highlighted, so I'm curious why they've highlighted that or put in bold the word knowledge. It's not a new word, probably. It's not a hard word, so it's just interesting that they have accented that word knowledge. Okay, so I'm going to go on for the second paragraph. But going to college and doing well once we're there also relies heavily on our behaviors while we're there. Professors and college administrators will expect you to behave in certain ways without any explicit instructions on their part. For instance, professors will expect you to spend several hours a week working on class concepts, homework, writing, preparing for exams on your time. They will not tell you when to spend those hours, but leave it up to you to recognize the need to put in the effort and schedule the time accordingly. All right, so now I've read a couple paragraphs here. So then I'm going to just check back, make sure that I understood them. I'm going to highlight this. So it seems like this part is about, we think about college as getting us prepared for a profession and associating it with knowledge, okay? So I'm going to summarize this, knowledge and, terrible typing, prepares for a career is what the first one says, but going to college means we should have certain behaviors and we might not be told what those behaviors are. All right, so that's kind of summarizing that first beginning part. Okay, the next thing it says, the good news about behaviors that help us in college. For this part, kind of when there's a bullet point list, sometimes instead of summarizing it in the margin, I'm just going to highlight it, right? Because I'm going to say, what are these things that are bulleted? They're it's the good news about behaviors, all right? These skills can be learned and improved upon. Just because we're not great at something like time management now doesn't mean we can't get better at it. The more we practice, the better we get, and the more it becomes second nature. All right, that part pretty self-explanatory. These skills are transferable. Patterns of behavior that help us pass difficult classes also help us succeed in the workplace and improve our relationships with people who matter to us. Okay, so now I'm going to add a comment here for this section and say behaviors needed for success in college can be learned. So if you don't have them already, you can learn them and transferred to work or just life in general. Okay, so that's what that part means. Okay, now the next page says, consider this short video from Richard St. John, who spent years interviewing people who reached the top of their fields across a wide range of careers. He traces the core behaviors that were common to all these successful people and distills them down into 8 key traits. All right, so we're going to have 8 key traits of successful people. Okay, the video didn't transfer when I cut and paste the text, but I'd go ahead and watch that video and take notes on it. That's going to be part of your homework, so make sure you watch that video. But it also has the 8 traits listed here, and I noted what they were. All 8 traits are things that you can put into practice immediately. With them, you'll see improvement in your school successes as well as what lies beyond. Okay, so that's pretty much everything to read on this first reading assignment that you had. Then it talks about the learning goals, the things I'm going to learn in this section. So this might be something I want to go and check back with after I've done all the reading in this section, is I want to make sure that I can really identify and practice these habits for success. I want to see what critical thinking is. I want to talk about time management and all these things. So if I was reading this whole section, I'd want to go back and make sure that I met these learning goals. All right, that's me reading this section. I hope it's helpful for you to see me modeling how you would do annotation.